Leak Vlogs back at it again. I just wanted to get this quick topic off. I wanted to talk about Kanye West and the things I've been seeing online, and overall just share my opinion about him being over the years of being invested into his music, his fashion, and overall just him as a person. I think a lot of people like Kanye West, or I think in general, like, everybody's aware of like his existence. He pretty much like manifested that for himself. You can't take away any work that like he's ever done. That's a damn sure fact. So this is definitely not like one of those like rant hate videos. This is just like my honest opinion, and I'm ready to get some, man. Like, I don't know, at some point you realize like you cannot, why would you want to fake this type of image for PR? You see, I got some shorts on. Hold on, y'all gotta see all that. I realized Kanye West is his own worst enemy, and it's actually quite sad to see. I think it has a lot to do with Kim. Well, obviously this all has to do with him, but I think the true downfall in I'll say his stock definitely dropped with Kim K, and I don't think he's ever picked himself back up since. I think that, like, those Kardashians do a lot. Now I understand why the we're gonna keep it on Kanye. So I do think like the Kardashians definitely was a very big staple in like literally sending him into a downward spiral. And I just saw, like, I'm seeing all these videos of, he just never lets go of trying to convince the public that the industry's after him, and they're extorting black people, and they're extorting, and it's just like, when you have that, it's a certain mindset that like you have where, like, when you watch what he's saying, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, it's like he's making it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like I'm convinced, like, it's two of the things. Like, this has to be either the greatest act all time just for PR, or like, yeah, this guy is pretty much like mentally insane. Like, for years I've been seeing the comments of like Kanye is insane, and when I wasn't as tapped in, or I feel like when you're not as just like tapped in, and you see all like how he calls himself a genius and people call him insane, maybe your brain can kind of tell yourself that, like, that's how geniuses geniuses are mad men. They're insane. They're like Kanye. Like, you almost kind of want to root for him, because it's like, you always want to root for like somebody who's getting kind of like bogged down on by like a lot of voices at once. And I feel like maybe at one point a lot of people were like that with Kanye, kind of like, like, leave him alone. He really is a genius. You don't understand him, XYZ. And then I don't know, it just seems like as you start to get older and you mature, it's like, whoa, nah, man, nah. I feel very, very bad. Well, I don't really feel bad, because like he's doing it to himself, and like I've been through certain things that he's been through. I feel like I've literally had parts of my life, especially like with the girlfriend part, that mirrored sort of what he went through. And I just think he really fell in like frequency, and it's getting bad because he keeps like, instead of like looking in the mirror at himself, he's still trying to convince the public that somebody's after him, or you know, they're trying to take him down. And, you know, like, let's make it clear, like, you know, he has the insiders, like, Hollywood information. So, like, you could sit here and comment on the video like you don't understand, you're not in the industry. But one thing I will say is I don't need to be in the industry to, like, understand what he's doing. He's kind of like putting himself out there without, like, you don't need to know what's going on in Hollywood to read someone's energy. You don't need to understand anybody's, like, really what they're doing for a living to understand what they're doing on the camera right now. Like, what's happening in front of our faces is a really bad crash out. And you know, I don't think he has any, like, real friends around him at all. Or I don't even think he has a decent friend around him at all. Or possibly he's had voices in his head try to get to him, but he might have pushed all of them away. And you know, it's just sad to see. I cannot be the only one that feels like this. And I actually made this video because I love Kanye West, not because I have to make a video to talk down on him or nothing. Like, you know, I got mad love, mad respect for him, you know. Come on now, who doesn't like Kanye? I mean, of course people don't like Kanye West, but, like, come on now, like, it's Kanye West. Like, you know, flashing lights, like, you know, I'll go all the way back to, you know, forget, like, rapper Kanye, like, you know, you know, him collabing with Common and the Neo Soul era, all the, like, come on, I'm very familiar with, like, his, you know, when he stepped his producer work and his rapper work. And, you know, this guy knows how to craft a legendary song. He understands, like, the essence of music. At one point, I believe he was so tapped into himself that, like, you know, it just spoke through the music. And I think that's where, you know, he risen in, you know, in frequency that led him to where he got all, you know, where he was. I mean, which led him to stardom. You know, it's not like he was trying to chase stardom. It was more of like he believed who he was, which led him to stardom. And I think, I think the opposite started to take shift when he faced battles in the industry that tested who he was. And, you know, it's like his mom passing away, and, you know, other industry things that he's going through. And I think the final blow to like send him in the hole was Kim K. You know, and I just think I'm gonna go on a little session about her too, like how I feel, because, you know, I have, like, brand new eyes now, and I believe I'm in a different timeline where I feel very comfortable speaking on this stuff. So even though this is still kind of like, you know, this is just like my opinion, I feel like this strong, like, I have to get this off my chest, because I really feel like I know what. It's not even like I know I'm right. It's more of like I see it with my own eyes, and I've been through things on my own that have broken me down, and I've walked through fires that reshaped me. So, like, it's not necessarily just like my random opinion. It's more of like I've outgrown a lot of the things that's still holding him back. So, like, that's why I feel comfortable speaking on this, whether, like, people agree or disagree. So, yeah, it's just sad to see that, like, he's spending years and years trying to convince the public. I mean, that's what I'm saying right there. It's like he forgot who he was. He's trying to convince the outer world. And if you understand anything what I'm saying, you already know what I'm saying is on point, because, you know, you can't convince the outer world anything. You can only you live from within, not like, you know exactly what I mean, though if you know, you know. So, like, you know, it's like he went from being the creator to forgetting. He forgot he was a creator, like, at its core. He forgot the foundation that he built, the mental foundation that he set for himself to propel him to stardom. He fell into the world again. I genuinely believe that. And you know, I guess the message of the video, you could say like, well, what's positive about saying putting your phone up and saying this? It's to bring awareness. Like, you know, he's a tool. He's an example of what to do and what not to do at the same time. And you know, a lot of people are as well. And you know, it's sometimes when you call people out, it's not out of like a bad intention. It's more of like, you know, I'm using me calling him out is a way to like alchemize that into a positive message by saying like, wow, like, you know, if don't fall into like don't fall back into the world, you know. And I this message is something like the mantra that I carry, you know, to myself too, like, you know, not falling back into like the 3D, the world that exists, that comes from within you. You know, that's when the craziness starts. And I think that's a daily battle that everybody goes through every day. And every day, you know, half of the world is either shifting, raising in frequency, while there's the other portion is falling. And I think every day, you know, we're constantly shifting, you know. But I think no matter what, there's a divine balance, and like, you know, the yin yang or the duality of the planet, which, you know, there's always going to be a group of people that are risen versus like fallen. But like, it's the people every day that like, you know, this person might decide to elevate while the person at, you know, it always evens itself out. But I think like we're witnessing the downfall of him. I mean, I'm pretty sure people been saw it, you know, being the fact that I just started this video saying I've always used to see comments like that way back then, you know, going all the way back to like the Henny and the Taylor Swift. And you know, you know, that's why I said the Kim K might not, the Kim K I think was the final blow. But I think like it probably did start when his mom died. I think you know, this is a true story. You know, my mother passed too. You know, I can relate to Kanye West really, really well. And you know, it's not to make it about me, but you know, my mom passed, and I'm speaking, and I can easily say that from like a super healed, you know, perspective. And I've also dated a I dated this girl that was not like me, like how he dated Kim K. What is she, like Armenian? I've dated outside my race just like him. So I literally, this topic, I you know, I literally have mirrored like his life on a lower scale. And I feel like I went through the exact things that he's went through, only for me to kind of like rise out of those situations and become more stronger through those fires. Whereas I think he is very burned right now. Like I feel like I'm looking at what seems to be myself if I stayed like hurt over certain situations that I was meant to grow from. And you know, it's just sad to see, like, you know, this is Kanye West. It's not like I'm gassing him up. It's just like, man, look, man, if you know Kanye West, this man makes, if you listen to his music, man, like there's certain songs that he just has that just tells you like, man, this guy was on one. You know, there's most celebrities too, of course. You know, a lot of celebrities come in the game and they rise in frequency, and then like the industry kind of like strips that away before their own eyes. But with Kanye, you know, the way he kind of like prides himself on being a genius and this, that, and the third, and how he commands attention. I think he was a strong masculine force that entered the industry. And I think, you know, the industry definitely corrupted the nature of his soul, and he let it, all because I think it came at the cost of him wanting to be famous. And that's also how I feel about Drake too. I guess this video, because I definitely was thinking something similar to Drake earlier, so I guess I'm going to title this video. This is like a video on Kanye and like Drake. They both share similar battles where they both came in the game hungry. And first of all, let me start off, man. I still listen to Drake to this day. I listen to Drake and a Kanye song. I believe that like I can filter out like the beat, like anything that might sound like BS, and I'm still inspired, especially by like Drake's first like 3 albums. And I know he makes like a lot of music that comes off as like he might sound like sweet or like not like as masculine, but you can't deny the fact that like what is it? Take So Far Gone, Comeback Season, Take Care, and I believe Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading this too, that was when a shift I think started to change, but Nothing Was the Same literally felt like Take Care had that grandiose, like I made it here, like what's up, like no one can stop me. It really felt like he was on, like he did everything he was supposed to get there. And then Nothing Was the Same just took that energy and kind of like, it was like the final, like my head is in the clouds. And then out of nowhere, Views came out. If You're Reading This came out. I think If You're Reading This was kind of like a precursor to like Views, but there was a huge shift when Views came out, and I think it's because he started caving in to the industry. And if you listen to a lot of his songs now, he has that same thing that Kanye does. He kind of seems to like blame the industry for like why he's not who he is, and really, Drake's greatest battle is literally himself. Those people struggle with letting go of the fame. And the funniest part about all this is going back to Kanye. Kanye said himself like slavery is a choice, and he clearly makes his choice. Like it's so weird how he chooses. They don't want to let it go. That's just pure ego. And I know somebody has to relate to what I'm saying. Like, those guys are literally like ego driven. I mean, I think before they were kind of ego driven, but they were more like tapped into their essence, their divine like masculine like energy. And I think that's what got them there, that hunger, that force, that I have to get it, I can't lose, I'll do anything. And then I think they completely like just forgot who they were. And Drake is, Drake might not be, in a sense, like you can't really capture Drake because he's like, since he's like the superstar, like the mega superstar he is, same thing with Kanye, they're both mega superstars, but like Kanye voices himself more to where you can like you can read him differently. But with Drake, you kind of have to like listen to his music and pick out certain things to kind of like catch him. I'll say it like that. To like like what I mean by catch him is like catch that like, nah, he basically like fell off. Drake did it to himself. And I still like Drake. Who doesn't really like Drake? Like, you can't. It's just like, he's very successful. I've always used him as like, in high school, I always used him as kind of like a, like if you like success, or you like the idea of like, feeding off of somebody's like success, like that was Drake, man. Like, he literally made you think like you could come from nothing to something. And like, that's the way I interpreted most of his songs. Like, he just had that come up energy. And even though he makes like, he does make like simpy songs, and I'm not talking about those, because this guy's damn near a chameleon. He can fit into like every lane. But like, I do think that they both are examples of being rooted in pure ego without spiritual growth. And while these people are still inspiring, and people still look up to them, I do think like people like me, and I think a lot of other people, see right through it. And you can't take away the success, the great work, or none of the accomplishments that they've done, but you just can't deny the fact that they've capped themselves at a certain level in real time, not necessarily because they're settling or they gave in. It's like they've fallen to the world of the Hollywood, like Drake went from like Drake can't, like, right now they got Drake in a chokehold, like, it's like, this guy thinks he's pulling a Michael Jackson in front of, like, our faces. Like, he thinks he's bigger than the game. And it's like, you can never be bigger than the game you signed up for. You merge with the game, you play the game, nobody goes to GameStop and buys the game and like tries to, rewrite the code. And actually, that's actually what PC gamers like to do. They like to buy the game and like mod the out of it. And and the crazy part is they only get to do that because the developers allow them to. And on top of that, like, there's a reason why most games don't come out on PC first, because the true creators of the game know what's people are going to try to manipulate the code. And the thing is, in Hollywood, you're not manipulating no code. Like, there's no, if anything, they let you. Like, they let Drake be Drake. They let him get this divine power of, or this sense of like being very illuminated, to the point where he feels like he can go in there and leverage deals, which makes sense, right? Because if you're your own, you're your own, you should know, you're your own person, you are the deal, they should be coming to you. But here's the thing, where he messed up was him and Kanye, where I believe is they went in there and signed that deal, thinking they won at life. And then, like, what really happened was I feel like they've realized their true value through being famous, and then they tried to rewrite the code, and the code is like, no. And I think that does something to them, that they can't like manipulate code the way they want. It definitely it does something to your soul. It keeps you rooted. It keeps you like in a lower density of frequency. Because you see the last video I talked about, I talked about time, and how like you are the time, and these people at some point were their own source. They were moving with as a force of nature that seemed to come off as like, I do whatever I want when I want XYZ. But those contracts bind you to, you have to honor the contract. They don't want to honor the contract no more. They want to rewrite the source code and do it their way. But when you are binded to someone, and your lifestyle and your money is kind of connected to, like, not necessarily the source, but like, your morals, a lot of they basically are in a partnership with somebody where they're trying to gain leverage, where at first when they signed that deal, the leverage was in their hands. So the only way to stop this is to walk away. And we all know that's not happening. So we're literally watching crash outs in real time. And Drake is just a little bit more subtle with it, but you can't really hide it. You know, the fact that he like prides himself on being number one, and like he basically has the mega superstar life, that is incredibly inspiring. But I do feel like it can mislead. Well, I've seen it personally. I've seen the effect that Drake had on other people that made them think that they had to do this like clout type of life, and I've literally seen it in real time. It's bad. I've seen how it affected people, but for me, I never interpreted it that way, which is, you know, why I feel comfortable talking about it, because I've always looked at what I've never interpreted. Like, I've always listened to my artists from the distance. Like, I can hear it, but I don't like. I've seen people I've personally known become like the artists that they listen to, and it's deep how it affects them. You know, I had a friend literally tell me he did drugs because of like Eminem. You know, I mean, like, you know, and like, that's messed up. And like, you know, who am I to say like I haven't, you know, when I used to smoke weed, like of course I've smoked because I've listened to music, but like I've done psychedelics. I've been influenced, I can say that. I guess I've been that person, but I feel like there's a certain bar of being influenced, and there's more people out here that they up the ante on their influence of the person they listen to than most. Like, you know, you put on one song and a person literally, like, their whole life shapeshifts. And there's nothing wrong with being influenced or inspired, but I feel like if you're not transmuting the energy in a way where it's not like affecting your life, or I'll say that, like, I don't believe most people transmute the artist's energy in a way and filter out certain things that where they can still be influenced but not take all the way over. Some people just let the music take over them. And, you know, that's why I'm in the sound and stuff like that. Like, you know, I understand this stuff. Like, you know, I understand sound and stuff. I study this stuff. I play guitar, and like, I understand certain things about sound and frequency. You know, this is exactly what the new Captain America movie was about. Was literally about mind control and sound frequencies. You know, it's literally, this whole video is literally what that movie is about. But we're at the 27-minute mark. I feel like I'd never want to make a video over 30 minutes, but the more I get comfortable talking to the camera, it just seems to roll off the tongue and the times go by. I'm gonna end it on this note, and I'll pretty much, you know, thank you guys for listening. Please, like, you know, let me know in the comments like what you think about this Kanye or Drake thing. I feel like by the time this reaches a lot of people, like, the message will still stand firm, because of, like, it's not like something I feel like in a couple months, like, I could come back and delete. It's like, man, they've been doing this for so long, and I'm just really seeing it to the point where I'm making a video about it. But you know, to end on a positive note, I still think, like, if you have the right mindset, it's easily inspiring to, like, listen to their music, and they left behind great messages. And you know, we're not even going to do that. Like, these people definitely are in somewhat way inspirational, but I'll just leave it at that. You know, I'll leave it at that. These people are still, you know, inspirational, and they're somewhat still very intelligent, and they're just in a different timeline, I believe. So, being with that said, I will catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.